Las Vegas is one of the fastest growing cities in the U.S. and one of the most unchurched. It's why church planters here say this city is key to advancing the gospel.
The overall majority of people, I guarantee you, especially if they're from the West Coast, have never had someone sit down and explain who Jesus is.
Seeing themselves first as missionaries, Josh Carter and Joseph Gibbons work as Southern Baptist church planters. Their mission field, what they describe as the pre-Christian culture of Las Vegas.
These are people that did not grow up around church. It doesn't fit within their norms of how to do life.
That's why Carter, Gibbons, and their team hope to take what many know as Sin City for the gospel. They're planting 13 churches in this booming metropolis of 2 million.
Good morning, friends.
With an updated playbook that uses social media as a starting point.
It literally, that is the front door for people. They're going to check you out. They're going to follow you.
These church planters also rely heavily on meeting their neighbors face to face. For Gibbons and his wife, that has meant local Vegas playgrounds during the height of COVID.
Really nothing was open. We have little kids, 5 and 3, and so my wife would take them out to parks and she would meet moms.
That led to relationships that then moved toward a focus on the Word.
For us, it's about not thinking of ourselves more highly than we ought, but getting into a posture of we all need to meet each other on the ground level of the gospel.
And from there, Favor City Church began to grow right in the midst of a pandemic.
When the limit of gathering was 10, we were like, great, we have 6. And so we just started to gather.
Favor City is part of a wave of Southern Baptist plants that are moving the needle in the right direction. The denomination's North American Mission Board, or NAM, launched close to 600 last year, up 36% over 2019.
I think there is hope. You know, the North American Mission Board is planting hundreds upon hundreds of churches, surprisingly high numbers even in 2020.
And these churches are diverse. 6 in 10 last year were non-Anglo. That is crucial as experts predict that whites will decline to a minority population as early as 2045. Researchers say plants like Favor City could lead the way as the church in the U.S. seeks to diversify and reverse trends, especially out west and in New England, where large numbers of people have no religious affiliation. Gordon and Ashley.
Well, Heather, I've got to ask, I was told years ago, starting a church is easy, keeping it going is hard. So are these church planters in it for the long haul?
Right, you know, and to be fair and to be real, I mean, church planting is hard work and church plants fail. That happens. But what we're seeing, especially in places like Las Vegas, is that these planters really have a missionary mindset. They know they're going into communities where people are not waking up on a Sunday morning and thinking, what church am I going to go to? It's not even on their radar. And so it reminds me of baking from scratch, if you will. They are approaching people, getting to know them, and then talking about Jesus and discipling them. So it reminds me of the early church in some ways. It's very much a pre-Christian culture in Las Vegas, in other cities out west, in New England. And so it really requires a different mindset for someone planting a church there. And they really have to be all in order to do it. It requires a really sacrificial life, Gordon.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what's obviously happening in Las Vegas is really good news that we can praise God about. But what can you tell us about the rest of the country where more churches are closing rather than opening?
Yeah, and it's an urgent picture right now in the United States in terms of church affiliation, church attendance. We know that according to Lifeway research in Nashville, that churches have been closing faster than they've been opening. In 2019, 3,000 Protestant churches started in the U.S., but 4,500 closed. And so missiologists are saying we really need a net gain of 2,000 churches a year in the U.S. just to keep pace with church closures and with population growth. And this is especially critical, as I just mentioned, like in the Pacific, the West Coast and New England areas where people really are not religiously affiliated, or the majority are not anymore.
Well, how big of a blow has COVID been for church attendance, church openings, and church closings?
Right. So In the last 20 years, church growth experts say we've seen an overall decline in church attendance, and COVID accelerated that. According to a Gallup poll in May, the good news is that for certain age groups, attendance has basically recovered when you compare 2019 to 2021. So groups 18 to 34 and groups 55 and over, their religious service attendance has recovered. But the group in the middle, that 35 to 54, their attendance is down by 9% right now from 2019. And so church experts are really talking about re-engaging with people in different ways. They're not going to church as frequently as they were before COVID. They're interested in engaging digitally more. And so how can that be done effectively to reach people for the gospel and also to disciple them?
All right. Well, Heather, thanks for the insights. Thanks for joining us. You can always get the latest news and more when you download the CBN News Channel app. Hello, I'm Gordon Robertson. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more encouraging videos like this one. Welcome to the 700 Club Interactive family, and God bless you.